All right, everyone. Welcome to another Contrarian Hour. Okay, a little bit of a sneaky name there. Some
Mm,
agreements have been going on lately, but not enough disagreements. Some would say. But Tyson, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing,
Yeah.
my little lady?
What is it? Sometimes you say you're doing good, and then people say it's well. You should be doing I'm well. I don't know.
I'm
Is
not
that
doing that. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I'm not telling you to do that. But
You
so
can't
I,
make
I
me.
I feel like my vocabulary's been corrected from that at some point. But yes, we are here. And I will say, as a little treat to anyone who might be a longtime listener, we have a breath of life from our co host. I.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
heard from him after a 3-month absence. Um,
Yes.
and long story short, uh, some things are happening, but he'll update us when he's ready. So yeah,
He's on a soul seeking journey only he can find the answer to.
yeah.
So I think it's best for everyone that we let that play out and not have it'll reach its logical conclusion and we'll worry about it then. But he is alive. For now, you're stuck with us too. So we'll just kick it right off because I have a public service announcement that I've been wanting to get off my
Actually, real
chest.
quick, kind of embarrassed. I don't know why, but this just popped up in my mind. But when you were saying like doing good versus doing well, that reminded me of like the time when I was like 15 and like I think like Downton Abbey just came out and I was like
Called
earnestly like
Downtown Abbey.
down yeah and I was like earnestly telling my friends like, man, I wish I could speak like that but in like real life, just like just like in everyday life, like good, jolly good chap, all that,
I'm
like
sorry, but I'm actually glad that you interrupted me because this is a way to derail into one of my own stories. Is that it's either late college or early career out of college, I hit Downton Abbey hard. I buckled
uh-huh.
down. I sat my ass down and listened to Downton Abbey.
Did your
Okay,
accent change over time?
it's not that my accent changed. It's that I watched so much of it that the way they spoke, maybe proper diction, maybe relevant to that time period. It I wanted to sound like that, and I thought to myself, I feel like women would really like if I spoke to them like that. So there was a house party down the street from where I lived, and there was this one girl I always really liked, and I thought she was very pretty. She's kind of on the goth end, and I don't have a huge success rate with them, so I never put my full effort into it. And I started when I saw her at this party, we were talking outside, and I found myself talking like a character in Downton Abbey, overly formal. And she started paying a little more attention to me, and she was like,
Really? What
yeah.
kind of words were you using?
It's not so. I would like lean in and say, "Would it be uncouth if I kissed you right now?" or something like along those lines. Like really,
Ah.
just like elevated diction. I know, like speaking a little bit formally, being quiet, and like letting them speak as well. It's just like it's a Downton Abbey pickup artist course or something.
Dude, I
you
remember
know,
when Downton Abbey first came out, and I was like swept along in the whole thing. And I was like 15, and dude, there's this one day, me and my friends it was nighttime, we're smoking cigarettes on some rooftop,
What? Hold on,
and
hold on. I'm not done yet. Hold on, hold on. Just
okay, okay,
real quick, real quick. I was like, you can't piggyback off my Downton Abbey story after bringing up Downton Abbey.
okay, okay.
So at some point, I I I said something to her like, I find you very pretty. Would you like to go like have a like go? I didn't say have a dance downstairs. It wasn't that ridiculous. But would you like to dance with me downstairs? And she said, yeah. She said something. She said, I didn't. I'm glad I had the chance to talk to you like this because I always thought you were gay.
Wow.
And she said that a little quietly, but my friend's radar picked it up from the other room, and I heard him cracking up. So only he would hear that. So, then anyways, we go downstairs and start dancing, and we started making out and everything. And then, one thing led to the next, and I was like, that was a very successful use of Downton Abbey diction. So I guess it works. Maybe some girls appreciate
Ah,
it. Maybe she had maybe I had a chance with her the entire time, anyways. And I pretended I was, ironically, I pretended I was the guy character Thomas on that show, who is
Thomas
gay.
Shelby.
His character is gay, but I don't think I knew that yet on the show. But I just kind of imagined myself as him, not as Matthew Crawley. I'm not bitch made like that. That guy went out like a bitch in that car accident. That's not me. Never me. So, but yeah, yes, that show did definitely rub off on me before and wanting to sound like them. But what
Dude,
was
it
going on with
fucking
you?
it rubbed off on me as well, dude. I
Mm.
I remember like it just came out and I was upset that I didn't speak in that manner with my friends. And I remember like it was nighttime one day and I was like smoking cigarettes on a rooftop with my friend and I'm like, dude, why don't we ever use words like preposterous when we're speaking with each other? We should use words like that more, you know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
And
damn.
what did he say? Shut up.
He's like, yeah, I didn't really have a response. He's like, okay.
Are we good on the grammar corrections here or vocabulary corrections
Yeah, I
here,
think
or
we're
was there
good.
anything else you're thinking? The one that's been bothering me lately is the when I was younger, it was always when you were describing yourself and someone else, it was always and I. So it'd be Dave and I went to. David, Carol, and I went to. But I was corrected over the last few years that there are instances where you do me. So me and Dave, or Dave and me. So I always thought it was and I, regardless, in any situation. But apparently that's not the case.
Huh.
Apparently you can make me the primary
Yeah,
driver
I
or
always
the
thought
subject of the
X
sentence.
and I was the rule no matter what.
Yeah, no, it's not, which is news to me. I said, why did people tell me that when I was younger? But
I
it is what
refuse
it
to do
is.
that as well because it's like if I say David and I, that puts David before me in the story. I'm sorry, but I care more about me in the story than I do about David. So let's
Yeah, why are we naturally taught accommodating sentence structure to make David the center
exactly.
of it? I'm talking
I'm
about
telling the
me.
story.
It's
Exactly.
about
It's
me.
my story.
Man, our fictional character's taking a beating today. But all right, no, what I was gonna say was public service announcement, kind of leading into our first topic. And it was surprising to me, and I know you're kind of a connoisseur of these things, and I hope some of our listeners are. You've been wanting me to try a Nitro Pepsi for a while, and it's been sitting in my fridge for I think close to a year now. So I don't
Yeah,
know
I'm
if
gonna
that Nitro
force you to
Pepsi is
ship
still
that
good.
to FedEx that to me if you're not gonna drink it anytime
Yeah,
soon.
just spend
So
$40 shipping it to New Zealand, even though it's probably gone bad. Now, this thing could probably survive nuclear radiation. But what I did notice on the convenience store one day was, and it's high up in I don't know, just in the places around me, but high up in the freezer in a single row, there is what I saw to be Coke Zero spiced. Okay. I'm not a big Coke Zero
oh.
guy. I'm not a big Pepsi Max Zero guy, anything like that. But spiced Coke, right? I gave this a shot. Only the zero. I didn't have the regular one. There's too many calories in that. I don't just need to have empty soda calories. Those are from Satan. Just be aware of that. Anyone who's trying to lose weight, just cut out soda immediately. The diet ones don't even taste that bad. So I got spiced Coke Zero. And I have to tell you, I can't believe it's even allowed to exist. It is so ridiculously good. It feels like cheating when I go and buy it. I'm scared. I want to find a way to get a case of it somewhere because it's really doing it for me. And
I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea why people aren't talking about it more.
I'm
I
having
have
it.
no idea.
I'm trying to imagine like a cinnamon Coke, and it kind of feels like it would taste gross.
How does cinnamon Coke not sound good? I mean, this is the melange spice of Arrakis in your Coca-Cola can, and it's incredible. And you know what's even funnier? If it were spiced, as in it's not temperature spicy, but how would you describe that kind? I guess heat spice or what? What's the level
uh,
like? Taste spice. If it were like that kind of spice, I'd even
uh,
like that too. I'd love to try that in a
no,
Coke.
shut the fuck up. No, you wouldn't. That
No,
sounds
you don't think so?
disgusting. What, like fucking hot wings type of spice in Coke? That sounds disgusting, dude.
You've never had a spicy margarita?
Dude, I've tried spiced beer, and that was the most disgusting shit I ever tasted. They literally took like fucking habanero pepper, mixed it with like infused it with beer somehow, and they said, "Oh yeah, try our new invention, spiced beer," and I nearly threw up, dude. It was fucking disgusting.
I'm sorry. Now that you describe it, that sounds really good. That does sound really good. I'm gonna have to try something like
Tell you what,
that.
I'll send you a case of that. You send me the fucking nitro Pepsi in exchange. How about
Okay,
that?
do they really not have nitro Pepsi in the entire? Is that something that what's your horse face prime minister? What was it Jacinda? Is that something she got rid of on the way out?
No,
She
they
said
do,
no nitro
but they
Pepsi.
only sell it in packs of like 12, and I have to pay like $80 for a pack of 12. So I'm not doing that.
So I have to pay 40 to send it to you. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, when a certain someone sends me a package I've been expecting, then I'll release the nitro Pepsi. I hear he's hard at work on it. But what I was expecting when I got it was I did half expect for it to be some type of heat spice within the Coke, which would have been really ingenious. But instead it was leaning more towards the cinnamon end, and it's certainly not overbearing. It's actually pretty good. So that combination, it kind of reminds me of the fervor I felt when I tried vanilla Coke for the first time. Anyone who's
Mm.
old enough remembers when vanilla Coke came out, that was crack cocaine. Everyone was talking about vanilla Coke. I actually don't know why it felt they must have changed something or the hype died down because I don't hear people talking about it as much as they used to. But I think spiced
I buy it every
okay,
time I see it in the fucking convenience store. So I'm still going
vanilla
strong.
Coke.
Vanilla Coke Zero, yeah.
Yeah, I think what they need to do. You ever go to a movie theater and those machines?
Actually,
They
that's a good
have yeah.
point.
Go ahead.
They only have Coke or Coke Zero. Why wouldn't they have like vanilla flavor? It's weird.
What do you mean in those
They
machines?
yeah, like if I go to a fucking movie and they're like, "What drink do you want?" We have Coke, Sprite, or Coke Zero, and it's like, could you not like give me vanilla Coke Zero? Like, that
Oh,
would be
at
sick.
movie theaters near us, they have Dr. Mengele type machines, except for soda, where you can combine all these different types of Coke, and you'll see ones that you've never seen in your life. You'll see Coke Zero Orange Vanilla, and all this insane stuff that can only be bred in a lab. Except it's in this, it's in like a fountain soda dispenser at a movie theater, and I'm like, you guys need to. I just want I just want my Coke, my Diet Coke, and my Coke. Like I just keep it simple, you know. So maybe they've kind of oversaturated the market with all these different kind of Cokes, and they got to get back to the basics, you know.
Just the mental image of a fucking American cinema theater, like concession stand, like a bucket full of like fucking butter and popcorn with like Coke and 15 flavored additions. Like love truly Lovecraftian image if you think about it.
It's a very easy to make AI image, we'll say so. But there aren't many things that better describe American excess than a huge butter popcorn and a fountain soda machine that can just create like some interdimensional Coke that you wouldn't dream of at a movie theater that landlords can't bring themselves to get rid of because they look like Looney Tunes castles. And they're like, all right, well, we'll just keep them around, even though people barely see movies anymore. But it is what it is. What can you
Actually,
do?
I I might have mentioned this before, but have I ever talked about fucking Pepsi Lime on the show?
I mean,
Does that ring a bell?
I don't think so. Really, just Nitro Pepsi, I think, and that might have been 40
Right, right.
episodes ago. So
But dude, when I was a kid, I had tried this thing called Pepsi Lime, and it was fucking sick. But I didn't see it for like 10 years after that. And when I went to Malaysia, I saw it again for the first time in like ages. And I mixed Pepsi Lime with tequila, and it goes so fucking hard, dude. You have to try that if you ever see it.
what time of day did you do that?
Uh, about midday.
Okay. So rewind 3 hours, subtract 3 hours from that. That's probably when you actually started doing it. But hey, you're on vacation. No one's stopping you. No one's stopping you. That just feels like a midday drink. That doesn't feel like a nighttime drink. Just in
Yep.
the lab concocting something. So I want to give some finality to this point though, because we went on this for a little bit here, but I just want to say if you see spiced Coke Zero, please get it and try it. And if you don't like it, you can blame me. I can take the blame. I've taken blame for so many things in my life. What's one more thing? But I think you'll like it. I really think you'll like
You
it.
can
And that
blame
goes for you,
us, and then
Tyson.
we'll transfer the blame onto Ari. That's the way the
Exactly.
pyramid
Just
works.
the the ethereal punching bag that may or may not exist. So
The real Maslow's hierarchy.
yeah, the hierarchy of needs. The top of the pyramid is chastising Ari and making him feel bad about some of his decisions. So, okay, I just wanted to get that one out of the way because I want to move on to the main event here. And I know you and I have kind of traded barbs on this one. Actually, I think we might agree about some things here. And this could be a part 2 to our all rappers are gay saga. It'll probably evolve into that, which by the way, complete vindication on my part. I brought up that all rappers were gay before the Diddy stuff came out, before any of it came out. And now we got little Uzi Vert just literally looking like a street male prostitute on stage thrusting. I guess you couldn't even consider him like an old school rapper or anything like that. He's part of like the new age SoundCloud stuff. But I have a subject here that you wrote down. It's called Rap Civil War. So I'm imagining Captain
Dude,
America Civil War except rap. So what's going on here?
dude, talk about fucking spiced Coke. Things are spicing up in the fucking rap game. So you
Yeah.
got, you got fucking World War II rap edition. You got so on the ally powers, you have Kendrick, Future, Metro Boomin, Pusha T, Rick Ross, and Kanye. And then the Axis powers, you have fucking Drake and J. Cole. So these two, they're fucking using all the shots. They're fucking leveling each other out right now. Dude, I can't help but fucking back J. Cole here because it's literally like it's like 8 versus 2. They're like all dogpiling on Drake.
Real okay. Isn't Travis Scott on the Kanye side as well? Isn't he a Kanye defender?
He's neutral right now.
Switzerland.
He's Switzerland.
So I saw that Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if Kendrick Lamar's traded any barbs with Drake whatsoever, but I know that Drake came out with an AI disc which had Tupac and Snoop Dogg on it. And I didn't even listen to it because I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to hear anything that sounds like
It
Snoop
was
Dogg
actually
because I
good.
fucking hate
So
him. That's good. I'm glad to hear that it was good because then I think at some part in the song, and this is what stuck out to me and made me kind of want to talk about this subject because it broadly has to do with rap in general, is that the image he painted of Kendrick Lamar was so funny. He said, "You're gonna hole yourself up in a New York City apartment trying to type up or trying to write up quintuple entendres, bro. Like, what are you
yeah,
doing,
yeah.
bro?" Just kind of making fun of the nature of Kendrick's writing and how needlessly complex it is when it's imprinting on something as simple as rap and beats. And it's like, I'm sorry. I'm on Team Drake when it comes to something like that. Rap can be at its nature. Okay. So when you're first getting into, I don't want to say music in general, but just say like fields, you think whoever can do it the best technically is the best. So you think the best guitar player of all time is someone that can play that instrument with the most speed and precision and best capture like complicated time signatures. But then as you mature in appreciating these things, you learn that the best guitar player is someone who has the feel for what they're doing, that can best
Mm.
express themselves through that instrument. I think Kendrick Lamar is still stuck in people's brains as a technically good rapper, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're a great rapper, an appealing rapper, or one that's able to capture the essence of what music is, which is, or rap is, rhythm and entertainment and beats and things like that. So, and I think Drake
No,
better captures
no.
that than
I
Kendrick.
think I think Kendrick was what you're describing. He was a master of like fucking rapping with emotion and all that. But that was in 2012. And every album since his 2012 album has degraded since then. If you didn't know
Mm.
how the whole rap beef started, it's because I think like a month ago, Kendrick came out with a song featuring Future and Metro Boomin, where so a month before the Kendrick diss, Drake came out with a song with J. Cole. It's like, yeah, top three, bitch, me, J. Cole, and Kendrick. Like bring Kendrick up. And then Kendrick responded with like, fuck the top three, it's only top me, bitch. And then that's what sparked
And
the whole
J.
thing.
Cole's like, I didn't even do anything. So that's what
Dude,
started it. Okay.
Drake is fucking Germany. J. Cole is like Italy. So like the dumbass like fucking ward state of Germany.
Mussolini manlet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but Kendrick hasn't even responded yet, right? But I think something that solidified my position too on kind of what I just said. It was that, oh, who was it? I think Lupe Fiasco came out, and he's one of those black rappers that everyone likes to pretend is, oh, he's so deep and his lyricism is so what. Name like literally any of his, like no one cares, no one knows any of his stuff. He was on that one Kanye song 20 years ago, and we all pretend that meant he had a phenomenal career. But I guess people respect him in circles that actually follow rap around, which isn't your normal person who likes people like Drake or Kendrick. But I think he came out and said that Drake was better than Kendrick. So this is one of those annoying, like technical rappers that tries to elevate the genre, like a whale type rapper, like stuff that's really boring. He came out and
Whale?
said like Drake's probably better. Yeah, you don't know who that is, so don't worry about
Are
it.
you trying to say
Keep going.
Wale?
Oh, sure. Whatever.
Wale.
I'm not supposed to know how to actually say that stuff. So what you're talking about, by the way, what happened with Kendrick, where his lyrics got needlessly technical.
Yeah, I love how people
Yeah.
pretend his last two albums weren't fucking snooze fest, dude. They're so boring, fucking bullshit. Like he released Good Kid, Mad City in 2012, which was objectively goaded. Unfortunately, then he
Mm-hmm.
released the Obama album in 2015 about like civil rights and all that shit, which
Who cares?
I can see the vision, but it wasn't for me. Then he came out with this 2017 album called Damn, and everyone sucked him off so fucking much, dude. He even got a Pulitzer Prize for that shit, and it was average
Really?
at best. Yeah,
It,
dude.
it it must have had some regime backing to like push it into the stratosphere. Maybe someone recognized that. I don't know, but you know which rapper suffered the same fate, because I always thought he was extremely talented, but that's because he was able to. And I obviously don't know a lot about music in general, but I can listen to it and know what I like. Um, Eminem was a really ingenious rapper back in the day, and I think he also capitalized on just being irreverent to what the culture was at the time. And it was a lot easier to be irreverent then than it is now. So he did have some help with that. But as his career progressed, he fell a little bit out of the spotlight later on. And now he's trying to come back, and everything you hear from him is him just rapping really quickly and technically. And it's just that over and over. Like even when he came out with Rap God, which is now 10 years ago, to me, that was when he was already done. Like that still wasn't my Eminem. So it was once he was done with the Rehab and Relapse albums, once those were kind of gone, that was his last gasp to me.
Relapse was so shit.
I, I think there's still time and place for that stuff, but let's just say he was on his way out.
But
And
now that you
now
mention it, Relapse was wait, is Relapse the one with Lisa Ann in the music video, or is that
what, the one where it's like you're a rock star,
yeah? Is
baby,
that Relapse?
everybody. Let me see. I got no, but Relapse had like bagpipes from Baghdad, 3 a.m. Well, oh, it did have We Made You. You're right. So yeah, crack
Is
a
that
bottle. That stuff
dude?
was phenomenal.
Now that you mention that, Relapse was the last gasp of like the 2000s. You know,
Yeah, actually,
like
that's a really good point.
the next album, Recovery, that was the transition to like fucking modern pop music. If you think, because it had fucking like I'm Not Afraid. Remember that song? I'm not
Yeah,
afraid to suck a
everybody.
dick.
Yeah, what was that all about? So I guess he did a little bit of soul searching after that, and then he just kind of reemerged as having overly technical, like the Rap God type stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's so good." It's like, is he? That's not what makes rap music good. That's not why I think Tupac is the best rapper of all time. Not because he raps quickly or anything like that. It has to do with how you present yourself vocally, how you flow. And that's why also I can't fucking stand Biggie. I think he's just so incredibly boring, pales in comparison to Tupac. But that's a different conversation for a different time. So also, I don't think Kanye is fully involved in this war between the two. Is he?
No, no, he's not. He just hates Drake, so he's just using this Kendrick thing to take pot shots at Drake, which is
I'm
funny.
sorry, but looking at this from the outside, to me, I think that they're all jealous. It appears as if they think that Drake's success is unwarranted because he is not a gangster at all, really.
No,
He's a Canadian Jewish guy.
That's
And
true for everyone except Kanye. Drake,
sure, but
Drake and Kanye have beef because I think they used to be friends, but now like something happened, they're not friends anymore.
Yeah, I don't think yeah, and I don't think that's as much as in the spotlight as some of his other other beefs. But I just think they don't want Drake to be the person who's on top because to them, Drake doesn't represent what it is to be a rapper and in the rap game and a gangster because he's holding up a hat that says Anita Max Wee. Like, what is that? And doing like podcasts, drinking Aperol spritz with, whoever that girl is that pretends to be disinterested when she does her interviews. So it's like I think they just I think a lot of it comes from it does come from jealousy because he is very different from a lot of rappers who are there, and he's completely on top of it, and he's made all the right career decisions. He was able to navigate through. Who are we still talking about in Young Money besides Nicki Minaj? And that's barely, right? So he was able to navigate through Young Money. He was able to grow as an artist outside of that. He was able to separate himself from Birdman, keep growing. And now he's his own person. He used to be an appendage to
Mm.
Lil Wayne, believe it or not. It used to be Lil Wayne and then Drake's kind of on his way up. Lil Wayne, I've listened to some of his stuff recently. It's fucking terrible. That's
Yeah, he
terrible.
fell off.
And I love him. I was in college when Lil Wayne was dropping like the sickest shit you've ever heard in your life. It was so good. And when he tried to be a rock musician, which was awesome, by the way. History will prove him right with songs like Knockout featuring Nicki Minaj. That song was sick. And the one with what was it, like Mickey Avalon or something? It's like, let it rock, let it
I'm
rock.
sorry, but the
That
only
stuff
Lil
was
Wayne
so
song that
good.
I like and know is Lollipop. That's the only one I know.
So, man, he surpassed that 20 times over. You ever heard that song? Baby, are you down, down, down? You know
That's
that
not Lil
one.
Wayne. That's Jay
Yeah, it's
Sean,
Jay
right?
Sean, but Lil Wayne's verse in it is like it makes
Oh,
the
he had a
song.
verse. I didn't even know that.
Oh man, you have much to learn about Young Money. Like Tyga, who's still talking about Tyga? No one's
I'm
talking about
sorry,
him
but
anymore.
I fucking love Tyga. He got
You
dunked.
should. He's
He
great,
got
but where is
he
he
got
now? You
clowned on.
know?
He got clowned on so much, but he came back with a fucking banger, dude. So
Did he?
yeah, yeah,
There's a
dude.
really good Tyga song called
But
Fingerprints that everyone should listen to. Go ahead.
but so you know how in World War II, when Germany was like fighting out with the Allied powers, um, and in the midst of all this, Japan used this as an opportunity to do their own imperialism shit. The same thing is happening in the rap game. So Drake and J. Cole, they're fighting it out with Kendrick and his boys. And so for some reason, the Migos use this as an opportunity to take pot shots at Chris Brown. So fucking
Oh yeah, I did see that. Okay, yeah,
Quavo,
yeah. Go ahead. Go
Quavo
ahead.
fucking released a diss track to Chris Brown, and it was so fucking ass that Chris Brown was like, "Bro, I'm not even going to respond to that." Like that was so,
Was it lame?
it was so shit, dude.
I didn't actually listen to again, my only I don't even listen to music anymore. My only exposure to this is when I scroll through Twitter. So when I see stuff in passing and then you elaborated on it here, it's even funnier to me. That makes it so good because did Migos probably bring up Rihanna stuff in there too when Chris Brown supposedly beat her or did beat her? I don't know if he
No,
talked
no,
about
no.
that. It
But
wasn't any of that. Okay.
talk about history proving me right, dude. In 10 years, they're gonna look back and they're gonna say, dude, Rihanna deserved it. Like apparently
Oh no,
she was saying some crazy shit in the car, dude. Apparently she was like, you ain't shit, you ain't shit, bruh. And then yeah, he just had to teach her a lesson. So
I just want the record to show he's saying all this, not me. I don't condone beating women to a pulp. Let's just say, call me a male feminist if you want, but I
apparently
don't condone that.
apparently she was punching him first. She punched him like 10 times and he was like, all right, you know, strike 10, you know. So
I warned you. Well, didn't also she come out of that and say like, yeah, that was I was being pretty annoying or something. She never like fully condemned Chris Brown for what happened, and right?
so the I don't, it's embarrassing that I know this, right? But like
No, love it.
after the beating, right, she got with Drake, and then like a year into her relationship with Drake, she went and made a song with Chris Brown where they're like fucking lovey dovey, and then the song's title was like, Nobody's Business But Ours. So Drake got fucking swagged on so hard by Chris Brown.
That's so funny. That's hilarious to me that someone took like I'm gonna use this opportunity to take a swing at Chris Brown, and he's like, dude, like I'm sorry. He doesn't need to release a single piece of media ever again. Chris Brown finished his game up on top. Like
Yep. Yep.
you can't say otherwise. He cleaned up. He knew when to get in. He knew when to get out, and he navigated wailing on Rihanna with ease. He's like light work. That was light work. So. No, we'll see what happens. I'm just waiting. To me, and again, I date myself repeatedly. To me, Drake will always be So Far Gone, and I think there was another album after that. I don't really know much about him after those things, but to me, those albums are so great. I don't care what he does after that point. So, and he's a completely different rapper and person now. But I think he's just been able to navigate things, and he's very business minded. He must be getting advisory help from some really smart people. I don't know who, but he's definitely made the right decisions. So
Did you see
yeah,
the text messages between Drake and his mom?
no. What did they say?
So apparently
You
Rick
know so
Ross,
much
dude,
about this.
I don't know how I know
I
this
like
much,
it. It's good.
but like fucking Rick Ross came out to take pot shots at Drake, saying, "Dude, this guy, he had like a fucking nose job," and then Drake released these text receipts where his mom texted him like, "Drake, did you get a nose job?" And he's like, "Mom, no. If I was gonna get a nose job, I get a 2-for-1 discount, so you would come as well."
there's a lot of elements in there that I guess I'll let go of, but that's it. Okay, I guess that does disprove what Rick Ross said. Kind of throws his mom for a loop there. No, I thought you were going to talk about the video where Rick Ross saying like he Drake was trying to go band for band with Rick Ross on Property, and
Uh-huh.
Drake was talking about the entire square foot. It's like he showed, I think it was like Rick Ross's Miami mansion, and said, "Look at you squeezed in there with all that land next to you that you couldn't buy." He said, "My entire house is the size of all of your land and your house put on top of it." So they were going back and forth on this one, and then I forget what. Oh yeah, Rick Ross was like, "Man, you talking about how rich you are? You let Birdman get kicked out of his house right down the street. You better buy Birdman a new house for 50 mil by the end of the week, or you're a liar. You're a liar." And I don't know if Drake did or not, but he definitely let Birdman get kicked to the curb. So he's like, Rick Ross is like, "I bring all my homies up," which who knows if that's even true. But honestly, to be fair,
The funniest insult that Drake gave to Rick Ross's house is that he called it a Miami starter kit. Would you fucking Miami starter kit looking ass?
that is too fun. All right, so now I have to know from what we've talked about, and I think you can kind of glean how I feel about it or who I think the victor will be. But who's going to come out on? Do you think Kendrick will just come out with this all-inspiring diss track up against Drake, or he's going to pretend that he's too good for it and not say anything?
Calling it now,
Which would be lame, by the way.
Kendrick's gonna sweat his nuts off and release a technically good but boring fucking shit track that only
Yeah.
Reddit's gonna suck off. But Drake's gonna win the hearts of people, and then Chris Brown's gonna win whatever war he's
A
fighting
boxing match. He's gonna win a celebrity boxing match against Rihanna. So yeah, what is something that Kendrick Lamar's be like? Canadian, like just some stupid like play on word. I don't know.
I ain't Canadian.
Yeah, you better Canada go get some, just something like really stupid, and it's like,
Canadian. Obama just called me on my phone, man.
yes, that's the depth and extreme lyrical precision that we expect from Kendrick
It's truly
Lamar.
a lyrical miracle, dude.
I hope he's probably hearing us right now and be like, yeah, that's good. What I know most about Kendrick is the song ADHD on Grand Theft
That's a
Auto.
good song.
That's all I know from Kendrick Lamar. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'd recognize other ones, but if he was here, our co-host, Ari, does an incredible Kendrick impression for a British man. So it's a shame he can't be here to do it. Maybe I think we might have a recording of it on a previous episode.
I ain't only zipping doing 3 shots. I'm
Yeah,
gonna show you how to turn it up a notch.
exactly. His is a little better, but that's we have varying levels of expertise here. Yeah, I think that it'll just kind of go quiet after Kendrick releases something, because I think he's lost either way. Because if he says nothing, I think Drake will just keep moving. And if he
I
releases
think
something, it'll be
Kendrick will always have the eternal Reddit audience, but deep down he knows he took the L. Him and Migos took the L.
well. You want to put it this way, just like Lupe Fiasco, and I kind of put Kendrick Lamar in the same bucket. When you're talking about Whale Wally, is that how you say it?
Wale.
Wale. You talk about people like that. They're appreciated in niche rap communities as extreme talents. People like Drake are overarching cosmic talents that span outside of rap into everything else. You can't say that about Kendrick Lamar. You can't. He is not a bigger star than Drake, and I don't think he has the appeal in his music to be able to do that. And that to me, I think when you take music too seriously as an art form, especially when it's something that doesn't have a lot of depth, aka rap music, then I think you're bound to dig yourself into a hole, and that's kind of what Kendrick is doing. Meanwhile, Drake's just, I don't even know. He'll just
Oh,
passively release
we are
albums that don't even do anything.
Canadian.
See, you like that. That's just me on the spot. Get me in that studio. Get me in that studio. Actually, we'll never release it, but I have a rap song. I have a rap song that I did with my friend. So it has some really great,
Actually,
some
now
great
that you
lyrics.
mention that, I have a karaoke lip sync of me singing to to me rapping to fucking a G-Eazy song.
I'm sorry. We're talking about artists here, and I have
Uh-huh.
original rap content. That's just you singing along. I have an actual rap song.
Okay,
So
well, mine can be the DLC. Okay.
there we go. A
Yeah.
tribute, a tribute.
Yeah.
So I can't even repeat some of the lyrics. I don't even think they get past the algorithm at this point. But all right, we'll move on from that one. So looking forward to a clean W by Trick. I love when we just do a gossip corner about rap.
I
So
love it.
oh yeah,
The funniest part is how just Migos just came out and just gave themselves like a unnecessary L. Like they didn't have to take that L, but they just gave it to themselves anyway. You
oh,
know?
they can't help themselves. They can't just let Chris Brown go. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. Rihanna couldn't win, so you're not gonna win. And she has more pull than anyone else in the industry. What I was gonna say real quick was just to kind of cap it off, because I know we argue about this occasionally, but I'll give you one sentence because I'll only say one sentence or one word. But do you think Drake is gay or bisexual?
Straight, fully straight.
Fully
Probably
straight.
the only one in the rap game that on his level of popularity that's fully straight.
I think he's at the very least bisexual or has tried something with men, but I'm starting to come to your side.
Yep.
I think especially with album, is it an album or a song, Loverboy? It
Yeah.
just it's kind of like 80s hair metal artists that come off as so brazenly metrosexual that you can't help but know they're straight because just the
Yeah.
way that they present themselves. So yeah,
Dude,
maybe that's what Drake is
Drake,
capturing.
he's so fucking like secure in his masculinity that he's able to go like, I need a max win and still be like, yeah, I'm fucking straight.
Need a
And what?
max. I'm sorry, that's one of my favorite clips. Oh, okay. Here's a good one for you before we move on. Favorite Drake song?
uh
It's a tough one.
uh Wu-Tang Forever. Such a banger. Holy shit.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Money to Blow featuring Birdman, greatest Drake song of all time. But good. All right. Glad we could cap that one off. We got now that the main event's finished up with, let's just this is like a sweeping the refreshments out of the aisle. This is like cleanup. This is janitor hour here. So I got another subject. It's called it's one of yours. It's called India speed running. What is India? The country, I presume. India speed running.
So I saw this tweet on Twitter that really encapsulated how uh India has been acting for the past 2-3 years. You know, India, if you've noticed it, they're sort of like speed running their way to becoming like the most despised nation. Like they're really like max. They're like, you know how like people in Mario like time save by like skipping up the stairs and all that shit. Like they're they're doing that to like, okay, if we do this, we can get this nation to hate us, and this nation to hate us.
You're right. Actually, not only are they doing that economically by infusing themselves through green card programs and middle class, I guess, call center support and IT, they're also doing it through their forward facing sexual culture that is
dude,
just like
they're gonna become
despicable.
public enemy number one at this fucking rate. Like, think before, who was the most hated group of people in right now? I mean, prior in Europe, like gypsies or like Muslims,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then in the Middle East, like Jews, Israelis, maybe. Dude, it means they're gonna eclipse all of them by like orders of magnitude at this rate.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. And I didn't think about this until you were just talking now. Maybe you're my muse, Tyson. I don't know. But I think perceptions of them are going to become similar to perceptions we have of Brazil over here. So Brazil, you think of favelas, crime. You think of
But you guys like Brazil.
sexual improprieties. I don't think we like it, but I think it's viewed as kind of dingy and dirty as a country.
But it's
So
also viewed like a party central as well. Like they know how to party despite being poor, all that shit, you know?
Yeah, there's like some celebratory aspects or some things
Yeah.
that people find endearing, but I think India maybe has bypassed that. Maybe this lends to your speed running point then. So they sped right past all those, all those whimsical things that people tend to make up about Brazil, and they're just going straight to the source of it. It's like, no, we're just a shithole. We're just a shithole because if you think about it, okay, their equivalent in Brazil, I don't know if it's Sao Paulo or I forget what the party city, maybe Rio de Janeiro. Their equivalent to that is this beach town called Goa. Goa is
Uh-huh.
I've heard it's a mystical place of like great parties and beach events, and then when you go there, it's just disgusting crowds of people like harassing and rubbing up against women and borderline beating and raping them, and and it's like this is supposed to be their premier party town, and obviously it's nothing like that.
Yeah,
So
that's their fucking Cancun. That's their
yeah,
version of
yeah,
Cancun, dude.
but then you think about it when you put all of it together. What is there to see over there? What is there to see?
You
Is the
got the
Taj
Taj
Mahal there?
Mahal and
And
yeah,
that's
that's
it. That's it.
yeah.
And every picture I see of it, it looks dirty and cloudy around it too. It probably reminds me of the Taj
I'm not
Mahal that was in Atlantic
like
City.
I could go to fucking Thailand and eat their street food all day, but I would never do that in fucking New Delhi because of how many videos where I've seen where the guy just like sticks his entire fucking arm in like this soup or some shit.
There's a video that someone posted on Discord and just a screenshot of it. It's 7 minutes in. It's like a half hour in India. I already want to leave, and it's a girl just crying in the thumbnail, and her and the thing. It's just like it's just so terrible. Da,
Did
da,
you watch the entire
da.
video?
I did. I watched
She
a lot of it. It was pretty funny.
Dude, she's like she's like smiling and shit on the plane. She's like steps off and like her eyes are in fucking shock. And on the Uber ride to the hotel, she's like, you can see the despair slowly like seep into her eyes.
This is the byproduct of continued globalization is that people become so enchanted with these countries. But then over time, you start to find out what they're truly like. And India's perceptions of the female sex is objectively
Yeah,
reprehensible. It's
let's just say
indefensible.
they're not doing themselves any favors. Like this is one of my other points, right? But I'm sorry, but they're extremely easy to rally against, especially because of their attitude when they get confronted on immigration. I'm not sure if you saw this, but on
Mm-mm.
Twitter, there was this guy that was like beefing with this Indian reporter, and he was like, I think he was from like Canada or England, England probably, and he's like, what gives you the right to come to our country and like bring your culture and override ours, right? And then they kept going back and forth, and then he kept pressing her on this one point, and eventually she just outright said, you deserve it for colonialism, and we're gonna do it no matter what because you deserve it, and we can do it to you. So it's like, I'm sorry, but if I see that and I'm a native UK person, how do you expect me to be jovial towards you? You know,
I'm
like,
sorry, but India doesn't own that mindset. Okay. Obviously, people come from other countries and feel this similarly and feel like they're able to infiltrate non-native countries. You think there's something special about India in that sense?
yeah, because they're not doing, because look, say what you want about like other Asians like the Chinese, but you know, you look at China, despite like them having like their immigrants that moved to the West as well, they're also building China up themselves. Like they're making their country better, you know,
Mm,
through
yeah.
industrialization. They're not doing that in India. They're just fucking like leaving the entire country and just going somewhere else. They're not doing anything to make India like more livable. They're not doing anything to make it the place that they actually want to live in. They're just abandoning it. Like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, I can say that about a lot of countries that are trying to go over to the US or to the UK, but they're especially worse with it too. Because what they do is they take advantage of our green card program and then entrench themselves here. So no one talks about this epidemic, right? And I've talked to a few people in the industry. I'm not in it, but I've heard enough and experienced it enough. If there's someone from India that gets into an IT position as a manager, we'll say,
Uh-huh.
everyone they will hire from that point forward will be
Exactly.
Indian as well. And then
Exactly.
you will have an all Indian dev team.
Yep.
If someone wants to come at me and say that's not true or say I'm coming at it from a racist angle, I'm just describing reality. And if people were honest, people in those positions were honest to me and others about it, they would agree too. 1,000% true. And anyone in that industry could attest to
Absolutely.
it as well. And it's seeped into coding and it's going to seep into a lot of other things. So
You
that goes
know,
without saying.
you want to talk about like fucking Israelis and Jews and stuff about how they're
That's
nepotistic.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
like
Go.
I know I mentioned them a lot, but you know, at least when Jews are nepotistic and hide their own, at least they're fucking subtle about it. You know, they're these Indians, they're doing it so brazenly. It's like, bruh, really? Like, can you at least like like have the respect to like hide it from me so I can't? I'll see it in public. You know, like,
So we touched on this in the cannibalism clip that we uploaded, which by the way, that's one of my favorite clips we've ever uploaded. So I'm glad there was some decent reception towards it. But what I mentioned in there was that Haiti has a problem at the heart of itself because entrenched in its beliefs are this idea that there's a demon god that's cursed their country, that's forced to make it reset every X amount of years. So what you put at the heart of your own country dictates it. India culturally is rudderless, okay? Not culturally, religiously is rudderless. There's no guiding principle. So even in America, you'll see like some errant roots of Christian Puritanism that's kind of like loosely binding a lot of the country together. In England, you have, you know, a very rich cultural religious history. In India, they have this weird pagan pantheistic goddess worship religion that they barely believe in themselves. That's at the root of their country. And it makes it very malleable. It makes their beliefs malleable. It makes their sexual proclivities malleable. And it's really not a good guiding principle for the heart of their country. And that's why you're left with what we've been seeing. It's just, it kind of just seems like a free for all spreading itself throughout the world rootlessly. And the country is just, they're changing names of their main. Imagine if we changed the name of New York City to something else. That's what they did with Bombay. They changed it to Mumbai. Why are you doing that? You can't even decide what the capital city of your country is going to be called. So how am I supposed to take you seriously at all? So at the heart of that country is a rudderless religion and faith that never gave them a firm direction. I went to an Indian wedding a few years ago. You had to
uh-huh.
perform all of the rituals and rites, but not a single person at that wedding, wearing the garbs, doing the henna tattoos, believed a single fucking thing about what they were doing. Not a single thing. Not the grandparents,
Really?
not the. They don't believe in Vishnu and all that. They don't. They don't. Okay. It's more of a cultural ornament to them. Okay, they more lean towards being, I don't even know what it is, like Buddhist or something like that, or Hindu, something like that. That's like more their thing. But I forget even what the actual religion is called with Vishnu, everything like that. But again, even that religion itself is not firmly rooted as something that's like revered in their country. So
Yeah.
they have no baseline. They have no
Also,
baseline.
also, it's sort of like off topic, but like their women are really fucking angry. Have you noticed that? Like, dude,
Maybe
their
at
women,
you.
Indian women, are so fucking brazenly annoying. It's ridiculous.
This
I
is all
remember,
you.
I remember, right. This one of my one of my friends' girlfriends was Indian, and then I was meeting her for the first time. I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah. What do you think of New Zealand?" Because she just moved to New Zealand 2 years ago, and she's like, "Oh, I fucking hate it here. It sucks. It's like and nothing happens, and like it's so boring. It's like it's a shit country." And it's like, okay, I'm sorry, but what the fuck is your country like? Okay, you want to come here and talk shit about New Zealand? Why don't we do it? Why don't we go band for band? How about that, huh?
Band for band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you have zero room to well, you want to come, you don't get to stay, you don't get to live in New Zealand and then talk shit about the country as well. They're just like fucking angry. They're like permanently angry for some weird fucking
I
reason.
think that's it. I think that's an immigration issue overall. I don't know if that's specifically tailored to India, but definitely was in your instance, from what
Dude,
I'm seeing.
you know how brazen she was? She's like, "Oh yeah, you're Asian, right? But what religion are you? Are you like a Buddhist?" And I'm like, "No, I'm Christian actually." She's like, she like laughed. She's like, "Really? You believe it's some guy that was nailed to a wooden board?" And I'm like, "Oh, and what? Vishnu is so much more believable." And
Yeah,
she
your
got
8-armed
offended.
Vishnu.
Yeah, she got
Oh,
offended by that. She's like, "How could you say that to me, yeah, bitch?" I, yeah, I'm gonna hold my tongue here, but holy shit.
yeah, maybe they do feel a little bit righteous in those pagan beliefs that don't make any sense to me. So, yeah, I don't know if pagan's the right word. Aren't they more like what? It's like pantheist, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, or no? What is that term?
Polytheistic.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way of putting it together. So, that's a frustrating story. And I know that they themselves within their own country are frustrated with the way men act. I was reading something and I've wondered this to myself is, you'll see a lot of videos of Western women going to India and being surrounded by 20 Indian men
Actually, that's a
staring.
really good point. I'm sorry, but if I was an Indian woman and I would had to deal with Indian guys, I'd be permanently angry as well.
So, yeah, kind of what I was leading into was yes, you see those videos, and they are typical of white women who go on vacation there, or just we'll just say Western women to be safe. Not like we need to. We said even worse things just within the last 20 minutes. But I was reading recently about just Indian women and their thoughts on what it's like to live in India, and they say they can barely show themselves anywhere. If you're a moderately good-looking Indian woman, it's just straight on the bus to work, straight home. Don't be out past dark. And
Damn.
they have a rootless culture that never taught their men to respect. I don't want to say respect women, but I guess not even treat them like baseline human beings. So some people are listening, they're like, that's right, brother. Okay.
Dude,
There's a
you know me,
there's a perverted end to it that makes it
dude,
disgusting.
coming from like the podcast like
Mr.
mascot
Fresh and
for
Fit,
yeah,
yeah.
Mr. Fresh and Fit here, even I'm like, guys, just chill. Like you don't have to go that far, like
Yeah, so it was surprising to me to see that Indian women within their own country have to deal with that too. And that talks about not just perceptions of overseas and how India perceives women from overseas. That just talks about the general health and mindset of the people in that country. And it's not good. It's not good from what I can hear. So, yeah, that's upsetting. But I think people do need to be mindful about the spread within a lot of industries in the US,
yeah.
because it's not like they're getting in there and looking out for, people make the argument about immigrants is that they're taking the jobs no one wants, which I also disagree. If you're able to pay indigenous Americans what they want to be or are able to for that specific job, maybe for a summer job, or we'll talk about the kind of labor involved, then okay, that's okay. I think there's a way through there. I'd rather pay more for expenses and have lower immigration than pay less and have someone who's an illegal immigrant doing that work. That's fine. We're talking about people through H-1B visa programs and green card programs that are changing the faces of corporations that you're supposed to be working in entry level out of college. They are changing the face of those. They're not changing the face of, I don't even know, a wheat field in rural Texas. They're changing the face of
Yeah.
corporations that run our country,
And
and
and especially since America is like such a capital heavy country where corporations do actually have a like noticeable effect on people, through media, through their products and stuff. If you have all these people that are Indian controlling the corporations, that's going to change the nature of the country itself over time,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It already has. I mean, there's some people in the IT industry who can't get a leg in because. So I'm supposed to just sit back and say it's okay that you're only hiring people that look just like you. I thought that was something that we didn't like, but obviously it's not worth pointing out the hypocrisy. That's a waste of time. So why they wouldn't like it if white people only hired white people? There's no point in pointing that stupid stuff out, and that's just basically been the conservative party for the last 30 years. So what is that one meme? It's like a grave. It's like, here lay the roles if they were reversed or something, which is
Yeah,
one of
it's
my
like
favorites.
if the shoe was on the other foot, it's like, well, it's not. So what are you gonna do about it? So
I mean, even when it is, you don't do anything about it. So what do
yeah.
you want me to do? There's nothing I can do about that. So all right, we'll let that one go. We got an off ramp here. This is just a really quick thing. I actually like when we get towards the end of these episodes, we can talk about broad entertainment, usually about something we've watched recently.
Uh-huh.
But I saw the trailer for it, and I found it interesting because I think there's a lot of meta contextual discussion and a lot to dig into with these movies, not only the theme of them, but the actors in them. Not the first one I'm talking about, and now the second one too, is I saw the trailer for The Joker 2, right? And
Uh-huh.
obviously, I've seen the first Joker. I hated it. I thought it was one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And people get to pretend it's okay that it's an incoherent mess because he's crazy, which also, this character doesn't even remind me of the real Joker at all. That's within Batman. But I understand it's supposed to be a reimagining, and I have to let that go too, on top of everything else. But I just wanted to say, I'm excited to see this Joker 2 movie because I hated that first movie. And this is the only interesting thing they could have possibly done with it. Make it a musical, put in Lady Gaga, who's a great singer and a great actress, and I don't know, take it in a direction that people weren't expecting. And you know what? If you thought it was so cool that he was actually crazy and this wasn't real the entire time, then you're gonna love the second one because he's fucking crazy and he's in an asylum and he's singing, he's doing a musical. So you should
Yeah.
love that, right? You should love that if you like the first one. But for some reason, people have a problem with that because, oh no, a musical? No, I need lengthy diatribes that he showed no indication he was able to do early in the movie that he can all of a sudden do in front of a live studio audience before shooting someone in the face because he suddenly has an opinion about cultural issues like mental health now and can explain them in a distinctive way. It's just such a dumb movie. And I think that the next one, I am more excited to see the next one than I did the first one. Because what is it? Didn't he win like an Oscar for he? Oh, he's
No.
dancing down the stairs. Oh, that scene is just what? There was nothing planted in. There was no firm message planted in that entire movie. Was it about Reaganism? Was it about mental health? Was it about the wealth disparity? Was it about relationship between mother and son? Was it about not finding love? It opened up a lot of doors and didn't close a single one. And it thinks it's smart for not doing that because he was crazy the whole time. Oh, that's so fucking dumb. So I hope the second one comes out and maybe it sucks and makes people realize the first one sucks, or this one comes out and it's good because Lady Gaga, she's the only thing that can maybe save this because I think she's a great actress. And that one movie she's in with Bradley Cooper is really sad. So there's that.
um
What are you
yep,
thinking?
I like Lady Gaga. I hate
Love
musicals.
me Lady Gaga. Simple as.
Yep, love me Lady Gaga. despise musicals. I like the original Joker. I will be watching Joker 2, but I will be on my phone during the musical segments. So yeah, that's it.
So you'll probably be on your phone most of the movie.
Yep, yep.
To me, the Joker is this maniacal, unhinged criminal who does have a guiding principle for what he does, and that's one of them is to make Batman violate one of his only principles, which is to not kill anyone, which is, pervasive not only through the comics but the shows as well. There's nothing that these movies have done to hint at that. And maybe if he collides with the Pattinson Batman, which did you like that movie, the Robert Pattinson one?
I fucking loved it. That was so good.
I, I, the thing
Did you watch
about
it?
that movie, absolutely. I actually very few times in my life watch a movie twice, and let alone watch a movie at home, which is extremely rare. But I was sick over New Year's, and I watched the Batman. I can't remember if it was the second or third time. I think it was the second time.
How
It
good
was
is it, right?
it was 10 times better than the first time I saw it in the movie theater. It is such a it is you want to talk, the thing I
Dude,
don't go ahead.
the thing that it does masterfully is the atmosphere is just fucking amazing in that one. Like
I
when
th- yeah.
when he's riding his motorcycle in the rain and he's giving his monologue, that's fucking sick, dude. I love that shit.
They made it feel like there was a criminal element all
Yeah.
around you, which I don't think was captured well in the movies that preceded. I think it maybe did in the cartoon itself. But the thing I like the most about that movie that people seem to miss a lot is, well, two things. One of them kind of minor. I like that they made him more of a detective, because that's something they lean in a lot with that character and they don't touch up on enough. They didn't do that at all in the Nolan movies, by the way. It was just Morgan Freeman saying, like, I have advanced cell phone technology so you can find the Joker. Okay, type your name in and this computer will explode because you have some qualms about the technology. Okay, like, what was that? It was so stupid. I'm
Also,
supposed to sit there with a straight
it's
face.
like, dude, computers don't fucking explode if you just press a button like that. They just shut down. What the fuck
All
is
right,
that?
I'm willing to let that one go in the
No,
fiction
but
sense.
you brought up a good point though. In the previous Nolan Batmans, they're saying, "Oh, I need to save Gotham and all this stuff," but it's like throughout the entire series, Gotham doesn't feel that fucking bad. Like it looks like New York. It looks
I
fine. But then
know.
in this new Batman, I actually don't want to live in Gotham. It looks like a complete shithole. So I get his motivation for wanting to save it. Like, yeah, of course you have to save the city. It looks like shit, you know?
Oh no, I'm totally on the same. And like, oh, when Bane takes it over, a really hot Anne Hathaway walks around. Ooh, and she might attack me. Oh no, like please, I'm so scared. Whatever am I to do, right? But the main thing that I like the most about that Batman movie, and this is why it's smarter than the Joker movie, and probably going to be better than Joker 2. It's going to stand the test of time as one of the best Batman movies ever made, is that it did a really good job at showing that he was still growing into being Batman. He
Yep.
wasn't, he lost himself in Batman and forgot he was Bruce Wayne. That's why you barely saw him outside as Bruce Wayne the entire movie, because he was so bewildered about what he was trying to do with his life and what Batman meant as a symbol. So it's like a sophomore effort as Batman. And my favorite scene in the whole movie is when he's using the bat wings for the first time, jumping off that skyscraper before he hits his head on like a freeway bridge. It's because he's new at this. He was scared before he went and did it. You don't get to see Batman like that. You just don't. So a movie that can capture that really well, I liked that a lot. I think that was that shows that there's a little bit of depth in that movie to the character. And Catwoman is just, she's so hot. Like, what do you want me to
Yeah.
do about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Dude, you remember the scene in Dark Knight where like the Joker's like robbing the bank and then the bank manager's like, "Oh, criminals in the city used to have honor, respect. What do you have?" It's like you're getting robbed, bro. Like you want them to have honor. Like what difference does it make? You know?
Yeah, yeah. I think when all is said and done, I think that those three Nolan Batman movies are very different movies. I think his
Batman
the
Begins is Kino. It is phenomenal.
It's unfortunate because I think Heath Ledger's performance as Joker blinded people to a lot of the issues that are in that movie. Like, oh, there's two boats and they both have a like, bro, I'm sorry. And then they introduce Two-Face and then kill him off quickly in a in kind of a jarring way. That first one, when Ra's al Ghul dies, it's just one of the most cohesive, complete movies you'll ever
Yep.
see about the
Yep.
character. And Katie Holmes is in there. Come on now. And yeah, the suspension of belief, with Maggie Gyllenhaal. Hello, beautiful. That's hilarious. You want to
What
talk
did he
about
mean by
contrarian?
this?
Yeah, you want to talk about the contrarian hour and us arguing with each other. I'm sorry, I can't go down that rabbit
You know,
hole. Like,
some
she
say that
looks
was the
awful.
first sign. That was the first sign of Joker psychosis. You know, him calling
Yeah.
Maggie beautiful.
Yeah, even the hoodlums in his squad were like, "Is he good?" We got a serious problem here. But no, so I'm the reason I'm bringing that movie up is because if you juxtapose it against those Joker movies, the Batman movie just completely blows it out of the water. Everyone's like, "What if Joaquin Phoenix Joker meets Pattinson?" Keep that Joaquin Phoenix Joker in his own stupid little fucking world. I don't want to see any of that shit. Get the Batman in with some real people. I even think they even tried to introduce a new Joker into that last Batman movie, which I don't even want them to do that. Just get away from the Joker for a little while. Have him meet Poison Ivy and he blows her back out and then he has like a toxic dick or something. Do something like that with the next movie. That's something that's more about something that I'm looking for. So, you got any final thoughts on that?
No, stole the words out of my mouth. You know, Batman Begins,
Just that the last
Batman
part.
Begins, and the Batman, two best Batman films, undefeated.
You know what? You know what though? Here's one that and this just could be a generational thing, but I do get when people say no, the Keaton Batmans are the best. I haven't watched them. I don't want to watch them. I watched some clips of them. It just looks
Dude,
so stupid.
it's just like all the people say, oh, the best James Bond is the Sean Connery ones. I'm not watching a single James Bond film before Daniel Craig. I'm just not doing that ever. So yeah.
Well, anytime I've watched clips, it's been like that's it. It took him like 10 minutes to just beat up like two henchmen. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was just like, and he's like wrapping them up in like 20 different pieces of bat twine before throwing. I'm like, what is this? What am I looking at? Like, I'm sorry. You're allowed to say that like with effect, especially with superhero movies. You can say they got better later on because the effects caught up with what they wanted to have the superheroes do. I'm sorry. It looks less corny. You know what I mean? I think Spider-Man's the only one that's still winning that battle. That the authenticity of those Raimi movies will never be rivaled and haven't been with any of the new Spider-Man characters. But yeah. So all right. Thanks for going down Cape Shit Corner with me. I like that term. So we'll let this one go. I think we're good. I'm glad I can update you guys on where our co-host is. Tyson, you got anything going here?
Just a real quick one. You know, I was thinking yesterday about how different people are. And you know, I realized a difference between like what's different between me and you. And I think I realized what it is. I have I
Sexual
have more
preference?
uh no. No, I realized I have more of an eye for an eye philosophy, you know.
Mm.
And I think you, maybe it's because of your Christian upbringing, but you tend to take the knee quite a bit when it comes to certain situations.
Take the knee. Interesting. That's
Yeah.
how you describe it. Okay. You don't
So
think I have
so
a fighting spirit, do you?
I think if you, okay, I'm going to give you a hypothetical scenario, right?
Oh
So
no. There's a train
so
track. Sorry.
so you save a woman from a car crash, right?
Yes.
Okay, you save her, she lives, and then you go off. You see her 1 week later at the supermarket, and you say, "Hey, how are you doing? How's it going?" And then she goes like, "Ew, don't talk to me." In that in that moment, a magical button appears, and if you press it, it'll go back in time and prevent you from saving her from the car crash. Are you going to press that button?
No, of course not.
I'm
I
pressing that fucking button and letting her die, dude. I don't give a shit. You're gonna fucking ignore me and say that to me after save your fucking life? No, you're dying. I don't give a shit.
I think saving someone from a car accident is an act of altruism, and when you do an act of altruism, you should expect nothing in return, not a
No,
single thing.
no. I think it's fair to expect that you would that if I say hi to them a week later, they would say, "Oh, hi. How are you doing?" Like at the very least. If you can't say that, I'm sorry, but you deserve to fucking die,
I
okay?
love how women are rejecting you in your imagined scenarios. So.
I I made this initially about a guy, but then I knew that it would fucking make you angry if I made it a woman. The initial scenario was you save a guy and then like 1 week later you see him at the supermarket, right? And
Yeah.
then he's like, you try to say hi to him and he's like, buddy, I'm on the fucking phone. Can you see? You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, I would press that button and kill that guy so fucking fast.
I wonder. I think a lot of people listening would have differing opinions on this one. I think that's an interesting scenario to bring up. But I think it's in the same way when you do a favor for someone, you do something nice for someone, you can't expect anything in return because then it's not a favor. Then it's not an act of altruism. It's
I think that's a
transactional.
good thing to say, but realistically, to expect courtesy after doing that, I think that's a fair thing to expect. You know?
Yes, and I've gotten myself into a place in life where not in comparable situations where I've saved someone from a car accident, but I've certainly done favors for people and not got anything in return. And I've never once said to myself, "Oh, everyone," and I'm not accusing you of this at all, but I've never said to myself, "Oh, people take advantage of me." I just say, if you're going to do something nice for someone, that's it. That is it at the end of the day, and you can't expect anything in return. They can literally turn around and slap you in the face, but when you're helping someone out, that's just where it is. So yeah, I think there is a little difference. I think my big thing is maybe another difference between you and me. I pick my battles. I don't want to fight every single battle. I'm a lot better at, not better, but I'm a lot more willing to let things go in pursuit of a larger picture. And to me, something like that would be representative of a smaller picture, you know. But I don't know. I want to bring that scenario up again
That
sometime.
that would make man, that would make me so mad if I save a guy and then like a week later he's like just like shrugs me off and ignores me. It's like I just saved your fucking life, dude. You're gonna do that
Mm.
to me? To me?
Maybe you should hire the stakes on that one. So, what if he does something worse? What if that person in the supermarket does something worse to you? Calls the police on you and you end up in jail somehow? I don't know. Maybe you should try and find a higher stake in that one, and then that'll like really challenge me. So, but just them being mean to me, I don't think someone deserves to die for being mean to me after I've saved their lives. It's funny because people have done things far less bad than that to me, and I've thought to myself, I wish that person would just die. But it's usually it's usually a fleeting moment. Most things I found in life, if you sleep, people don't understand the power of sleeping on something. If you find yourself not thinking straight and kind of red with rage about a situation, you either can give it 10 minutes and take a walk, or if that doesn't fix it, sleep on it. You'll be very surprised about how you feel the next day, or even better, work out on it. That's like the ultimate
Mm.
panacea. So maybe I'm just zen. I'm trying to be. I've had a lot of things happen in my life that's pushed me in that direction and forced me to be zen. So I just
I want to get
I
you
want to
on my
be that
level,
way.
dude.
I want to get you on mine, so you're not resentful about small situations.
I'm gonna
So
fucking like I'm gonna blow like 20 grand and engineer that situation. You save a guy from a car crash, and then you I'm gonna plant him at the supermarket a week later, and he's gonna blow you off and like be rude to you, and then I'm gonna see how you react after that.
okay, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to something like that. You know what I always say, and you hear it all the time. I always say, of course they can just do that, right? You know what I mean? So sometimes if people act a certain way, and I say they can do that, they're allowed to act like that, but I'm not. I can't do that. Only them. They're only allowed to talk about themselves ad nauseum. They're only allowed to make that rude statement. They can do that, but I can't because they can just be those kinds of people in the world. You unfortunately, if you want to be the
That's why I should push the button.
healthier,
Push it.
more content person in life, you have to not see yourself become that person. You have to be above that person. Do you know how many interactions I have with people where I want to be petty and vindictive, but at the end of the day, it's not good for your soul. It's not good for your soul. It's
Yeah,
not.
that I have to agree with. It's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle, especially mentally. So, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it feels so good to get revenge on something.
I'm Italian. Do you know how much I want to hate people? And you know how easy it's literally in my genetics to be angry and fly off the handle at people. But it just at the end of the day, that there's a better way to redirect it, right? But okay, I like that. I like that. That's it. Come at me with a different scenario. And we'll see how far I can
No,
get
it's
in
it's
the.
your turn next week, so you got to think of of something that defines you and me. That
Okay.
you have that I don't have.
Tyson's basilisk. Or something like that. That's good stuff. Okay. I forgot to say it at the beginning, and I forget to say it every time. So whoever's still here, like and subscribe. I'm
Yep.
serious. I mean it. We actually are. We're actually getting a bit of subscribers lately. I remember when we first started this podcast, quote unquote, whatever it may be. I got excited when we got 100 subscribers, and now we're at 300, and I think we're
Mm.
well on our way to 400. So we'll keep it moving. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. And you know what I'm starting to like is we have a consistent range of listeners that'll come in that have been sticking with us for a while, and then we'll hit a third rail subject that just bring in a bunch of onlookers, and I like that too. So you get like a healthy mix, right? You get the people who are hanging out for the long haul, and then the other ones who come in like the what are they, anchovies from SpongeBob and then disappear. I love that. I love that. You get the Swifties, the Snyderites, the what do you
Yep.
mean my favorite rapper is gay people, or what do you mean that what was the one thing we said about lesbians that got people a little bit worked up? I said like lesbians aren't real. Yeah.
I
So
think
you
the
have people
comment was
coming in
like,
there.
two right wing dipshits don't understand sexuality. Interesting.
Yeah. No, there was one. I hate to bring up comments, but whoever's listening this long deserves it. There was one guy who said, right wing dipshits have an opinion supporting cannibalism. It's like, what is this like commonly held right wing belief that cannibalism is okay? Like when I think fervent right winger, I don't think, oh, yeah, of course he's a cannibalist. It's like, what?
Also, that's us being more altruistic than you. I would let people eat my body if it meant they would survive.
Yeah,
So,
that's sort of a leftist
exactly.
concept, though. It's spreading the wealth, right? So when
Yep.
having reverence for a dead body is a right wing religious concept. You must be buried underground. You must have this ornate funeral. You must bless the body and the soul and have a peaceful passage to heaven. Leftists don't believe in any of that. They believe when you're dead, you're dead. So who
Mm.
cares what happens to your body? Eat it, cook it up, get it on the stove.
You can't
What's it
eat people
matter?
because you just can't, okay?
Exactly. All right. We'll hit them up next week. Good luck out there, Drake. All right.
Yep. Until next time, we are the Contrarian Hour.